Mistakes are a part of human life and experience, and to say otherwise is about as strong a claim as Putin has to Ukraine. In this Civilization 6 Sizzler, I'm going to be talking about 5 major mistakes everyone, including myself, has or continues to commit. These Civ 6 mistakes aren't the basic build science for science victory and whatnot, as that's just Civ 6 in general, but like a condom, it's to make sure those pesky little mistakes don't go any further and end up ruining your life. Not the best analogy considering a child is different to a video game, as mistakes in Civ 6 are no doubt 10 times worse than an unwanted child, but let me know down below what you think and any other mistakes you might have, and if you do enjoy, leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future videos. The first mistake is big. Bigger than this epitome of a Reddit basement dwelling mod going on Fox News, and it's forcing unique units. We all love unique units, they're like Pokemon and collecting them is fun, but in some games, even games with top tier unique units like the Janissary, Togema, and Highlander, sometimes there are circumstances, like a tech disadvantage, the other side having a better unique unit, or the AI wising up and building infinite ranged units, which leaves you with minimal chance of actually doing anything. Wars in Civ 6 should be fought like Germans after snorting some meth. Blitzkrieg. Spending 50 turns taking out a Civ will ravage not only your army, but it will halt any progress as you need to build more units to replace the ones you're losing as you obviously don't have enough, and you neglect other parts of your game, like infrastructure to build science, culture, builders, even wonders at that point, and even if you end up taking out your target, which 90% of the time won't happen, you are left to rebuild not only the ravaged lands of your extinct enemy, but also your own infrastructure, as spending 50 turns on military will cripple economic growth. This segment is meant specifically for unique units, because I feel like with regular units, which this also goes towards, most people would know, okay, I can't take this out, so I'll just pull out like my dad should have done. But with unique units, there's sort of a sunk cost fallacy of sorts, where it's like, I was looking forward to this unique unit from the intro screen, and spent everything to get this unique unit, and now I'm not even going to be able to use it? Nah, I'm throwing everything I have at the cost of my empire to make up for the cost. Sometimes you just need to cut your losses and focus on other avenues to success, like a diplomatic victory which requires less cities and more brains than anything else. And finally, when I listed the unique units and said Highlander at the end, that was a complete joke. You never build that unit, even if your life depends on it. The second mistake is not forcing unique abilities. This is a complete 180 from unique units, but there is a reason for that. 9 times out of 10, Civ's unique abilities give them a decisive advantage over a specific victory type over the course of an entire game. Macedon gets a full heal from capturing wonders, Korea gets science from mines, Indonesia gets faith from coastal cities, Clio gets bonuses towards districts and wonders on floodplains, and the list goes on. The difference between this and unique units is that unique abilities give you an advantage that are active throughout the entire game and something that other civs don't have. Using that advantage is key because 90% of the time more effective due to it being a long-term thing. And by unique abilities, I mean anything other than unique units. Buildings, even like, for example, Macedon's barracks replacement, you never stop spamming units out of them unless you need to build something, because they just give you so much science that it really doesn't matter what else you could be doing. And the fact that this can't occur for the rest of the game, like other unique abilities, means you can make use of it all the time. Forcing abilities, even when it doesn't make sense, will give you a leg up on the opponent. If you're going for a science victory or domination or even religious victory as Persia even, getting your cultural tile improvement is still worth it because you get all that culture throughout the course of an entire game and will give you a big advantage that you can use to either help you with the victory types you want or even to get some good policy cards to improve the productivity of your empire. A Minotaur gets 40% increased district production with Nubian pyramids that are beside the capital, so you better move heaven and earth and then heaven again to get that Nubian pyramid beside the capital. Obviously don't move your starting settler for like 50 turns, but even if you could really use another settler, getting that pyramids immediately right before doing a district will be precedent, because all that 40% boosts for each district district will add up over time. Abilities or buildings or improvements or whatever are a lot more important than units because you get the benefits over the course of a game rather than a specific time period, and so unless you desperately need something else, you always go for the abilities the second they're up, even if it takes a while. The third mistake is for a specific circumstance, and that's getting wonders through domination, or rather not getting them through domination. Now, I'm not talking about wonders that are mainly there to give you boosts like the Great Library or the Stonehenge giving you a great profit, or ones that give benefits to a radius like, Temple of Artemis or the Colosseum, but building a wonder like Forbidden City, for example, which gives you a bonus throughout the entire game as its one wildcard slot, can change your game due to how powerful it can be. Wildcard slots are no joke. Same thing for wonders like Kilwa Kanasawa, Oracle, Pyramids. These wonders bonuses give mainly to whoever controls the wonder. So if I capture the Pyramids, all my builders are now going to get an extra build charge, even if the enemy built it first. So why build them if your neighbor's going to build them for you? If you type in a wonder's name in the bottom left search bar and you see your neighbor building that wonder, it'll show it to you. They're taking production away from building defenses, especially in the early game. So unless they have like 10 or 20 cities at that point, their military and defense is going to be a lot weaker. So build a military of your own, wait till they finish the wonder, declare war on them after they complete the wonder, capture the city, which should be easier considering you focused on military whereas they didn't, and you not only get the wonders bonus, like the Pyramids for example, but all the city's yields that you just captured, including the city spot, with the opportunity for more expansion if you decide to wipe them off the face of the earth, especially effective in the early game. The units you built up make less production than the actual wonder built, especially if you upgraded most of them, and you'll get the return on investment of a wonder and build up cities, which is the much better deal than trying to build a wonder before your neighbor does. Spamming builders to chop the wonder and building a wonder take too many resources for that small of a benefit compared to what you could be doing, which is taking the wonder and enemy cities and have an advanced military. That's just economics, baby. I'm the new Wolf of Wall Street. Now excuse me while I go and avoid paying my taxes. Before we continue, if you do enjoy, leave a like and subscribe to get 6 inches where it matters. But the fourth mistake is a religious exclusive, and that's using the Debater Apostle. Using the charges to convert is a bad idea for multiple reasons, as you get so much more benefit by walking around claiming the other religion's apostle is a witch and destroying them with 20 combat strength to religious warfare. But I'm trying to say, don't even use the apostles to spread religion once. Now you have 3 charges, and you can use 2 charges and still keep the Debater Apostle alive, but a lot of the times, especially if you're like me and you forget easily, then you could just make a mistake. You have your debater right beside a city and you see the spread religion button and you're like, oh, let me convert the city, and then you just lose your apostle because of a mistake. The debater is available for the entire game, and you can even heal them in a holy site if they get low, which is a much better investment, as spreading a couple times and they're out isn't as effective as running around and killing religious units. This also goes sort of for apostles that don't have debater. Even though they don't have the plus 20 combat strength, getting the theology tier 2 government will give you combat strength for the apostle, and even if they don't have any sort of boost whatsoever, they still do a lot of damage to regular enemy missionaries and gurus. So having a small army centered around a couple of debater apostles and maybe 2 to 3 gurus is going to be a lot better than just even, if your apostle has, 3 charges and doesn't have debater. Using those 3 charges won't be as effective as running around and killing missionaries over the course of the game. But the second part of this mistake is not using gurus. I never use gurus personally. I don't know if everyone does, but I don't, so I'm just going to put it down as a mistake. It gives 40 health to all religious units around with 1 charge. So building an army, like I said, of apostles with a couple debaters and gurus over the course of a game to ensure that they're kept alive will allow you to win a religious victory without having to spend much faith. After taking out all religious pressure in nearby cities, after taking out units, all religious pressure in nearby cities is increased for your religion and decreased for other religions, which means you theoretically have an infinite source of religious spreads by walking around with a small group of crusaders, which is a lot more effective. If you get debater, never use him, as even using him twice means you're still sort of set up for a mistake to potentially happen, and you accidentally click that spread religion the third time, and you just lost your rare debater apostle. And the fifth and final mistake is probably my favorite, and it's not using observer units, drones, and balloons. The final mistake is the biggest one people make in my opinion, and that's not using balloons or whatever they're called. I guess they're called observers. Now, drones and balloons give all nearby siege units their sight and +1 range. This means that they can fire within 3 tiles as long as the observer unit can see the target. The best part? Observers can see over rough terrain, including mountains. This is an absolute game changer, as the AI, even the city attack, cannot fire over mountains, which lets you stack up some siege units over a mountain range and take your sweet time whittling away at the enemy's defenses while they can't do anything but grab some popcorn and watch a Civ Lifer video. Observers make siege units great and untouchable, as even without a mountain range, 3 range is still outside most ranged attacks, and if you get the tier 4 promotion for siege units, that's another range, giving you a total of 4 range. And for the last bit, the cherry on top, the creme de la creme, drones specifically have an extra effect, giving all siege units +5 bombard strength. Now that might not seem too big, but 3 siege units attacking in 1 turn means you get 15 extra bombard strength per turn, and over the course of 5 turns is 105, so it adds up over 5 turns to about 1.5 extra artillery attacks per 5 turns, which is nothing to sneeze at, especially if the city you're at is a lot in defense. It's going to be it today. If you have any other mistakes or want to clarify any mistakes I made in this mistakes video, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.